rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin rage. We'll do it now. This is Rasslin rage. This is Rasslin rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade.
And now it's time for Wrestling Rage with your host, Cody Fleming.
Hey everybody, what is going on? It is Cody Fleming here from Rasslin Rage, Michigan Independent Weekly, Raps and Raps, After Proving Ground. There's a bunch of other things too. I can't even remember all the shit that I do nowadays. Tonight, joining me is AVZ, Alex Van Zant. Unfortunately, Davison Sarai is a little under the weather. She will not be joining us tonight. However, I do have her notes. She didn't send me all of her notes, but she sent me who won in like little pieces, like things that she wanted people to know. So I do have that, and we will get to that in a minute. ABZ is actually the 220 or the 2021 Indie Idol. I don't know, 220. I mean, I don't know, whatever. We're going to say figure
420, something.
Yeah, I like 420. So he's the 2021 Indie Idol. All right. Davison is the 2022 Indie Idol. Okay. Both of these individuals are working out of state, in state, all over the place. Right.
Yeah. It's fun.
They're very good at the promo game. And I wouldn't even call it a game but reality, it's very important. And the reason, I just want to give everybody a little bit of history that may be watching here. You know, maybe you haven't watched all the Indie Idol or whatever. Indie Idol started pre-COVID or during COVID, actually. It came out of COVID, out of a Zoom chat, like we're in right now. It came out of a Zoom chat with the Dread King Logan and Ace Evans. And what we were discussing was, and this conversation actually came up recently with somebody else, was we were discussing was the lack of promos, not only in the state, but in the indies altogether, and why. And one of the things that came up was these guys, they go to school, they do their 16, 12, 18 weeks, whatever it may be, and some schools do, not all schools, give promo training, classes, training, whatever you want to say. So therefore, when you see these guys coming out, they don't have a lot of experience in doing promos. And ABZ, let me see if you agree with me. There's a difference between a promo that you're doing for a promotion independently and a promo that you're going to do, say, for TV, right? TV, like you're on Impact or WWE.
Yes. Well, there's so many ways promos happen, and there's so much minutia because so if you really want to get into it, we're talking specifically video promos for an independent promotion. So when you do a video promo for an independent promotion, you want to hype your match, you want to put it out there, 90% of the time, your matches are going to be cold matches. So there's not really a build going into it. Sometimes there is a history. And if there is a history, you got to do your best to catch people up. But you also have to understand that a lot of people just aren't going to see it, though some people are. And so, I feel like there's different kinds, right? So like you cut them for different kinds of people. Like if you've never been to a promotion before versus if you're a staple there, you're going to be kind of doing a different kind of promo. Right. So I kind of have my intro, I'm coming promo. That's its own thing. That's just kind of like trying to hype the show in general, tell you a little bit of what I'm all about, and just kind of get you hyped up. But it's basically just to tell you what it is and also to hype the show. You know what I mean? The promoters use that to hype the show. But like when you're on TV, okay. There's vignettes and then there's promos. Vignettes are to get your character over. Promos are to get over a match or a event, well, ideally both. And then you have segments. You have live promos, which are to get over the story of the match live. Right. And then you have segments, which are their own thing, where you're going to be in there and you're going to be working with a lot of different people doing kinds of goofiness. Do you remember when I did that court thing with Truth Martini and Steve Rivera in like 2019?
Yes.
That was a segment. So that's like its own thing. We're not wrestling or anything. We just did some goofy court deal, right? And then you have like even further segments. You have like talk shows. So I have a wrestling talk, I have coffee talk. If I bring someone on, I'm going to be totally different than I would be if I were doing a direct promo. You know what I mean? You can't fight everybody. And so there's so many different kinds and so many different styles. And I do my best. Like I'm trying to do my best on here when I'm giving my critiques to like try to make them applicable to like the kinds of promos that people are going to kind of encounter.
Absolutely.
And I do think in what you said, not all the schools necessarily like don't focus on the promo aspect. You get a little bit of training, I think, at every school, but realistically, that's a one kind, right? And half the time you're starting from square one. So a lot of people like just get them comfortable talking in front of people, get them comfortable speaking in general, get them to know their character. And really those that are the talkers become like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because they're the ones handed the mic. So they're the ones constantly getting better at it. Yeah. So if you want to get better at it, you're kind of in a bad spot in a way. Yeah, because, you know, if you're out of school and if you don't want to go back to school to learn that, or if you don't get private lessons or go to a Jimmy Jacobs seminar or someone who specializes in promos as their seminar, you're basically just going to be stuck doing it live, and you're probably going to suck, and you're probably going to get wutted, and you're probably going to get booed. But that's the learning curve, right? Yep. But for here, we get to work on it. Each one of these, I feel like, are a little mini seminar. They're like a little promo seminars.
I have been, listen, so this weekend I worked Friday and Saturday, both days. I was at FU on Friday, and Saturday I was at Chaos Wrestling Organization. And, you know, obviously I'm there before everybody else or with everybody else while they're setting everything up, and the conversation comes up. Indie Idol. If the awards are going on, we're talking about awards. If Indie Idol's going on, everybody wants to talk about Indie Idol, right? So we're talking about Indie Idol, and a lot of the younger guys in the business, and I don't like saying the what's the word?
Names?
I don't like using the terminology because I'm not a wrestler, so I don't want to say this. But
right.
The rookies, we'll say rookies, all right? The rookies.
Sure.
I'll give like 5 years or less, right? 5 years or less for the rookies. And
Davison and I, right?
Right. But a lot of guys are like, dude, and you should think this is awesome, but when you're critiquing these guys, a lot of other people are watching these ABZ and going, dude, ABZ is giving a fucking master class on how to do a promo.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying my best to articulate. And to be honest, like I'll tell you right now, I actually talked to Truth Martini about this because I wanted him to critique my critiquing. You know what I mean? I want, you know, he's my trainer and he's one of the best of all time. He's been on TV doing this at the highest level. He's been at the Tokyo Dome. You know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. And so, you know, he's trained some of the best people in the world. And so I wanted him to look at, like, make sure I'm not leading anyone astray. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's what I'm saying makes sense. And so far, so good. But I do try to, as you said before, where, again, not a lot of people get a lot of promo time or classes. I'm trying to, like, if you're a wrestler, I'm going to try to relate that to in-ring stuff. I think you heard me do that earlier.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to do it in whatever facet I think I can to get the message across. And in fact, I'm going to try to, like, if I want you to do something with your voice or if I want you to put emphasis on something, I'm going to do it in real time to try to show you what I'm talking about, not just, you know,
that's what
not
makes
just
you
tell
a great
you.
teacher. See, that's what makes you a great teacher. And because I am also a teacher, but I don't, you know, I was a teacher. I'll use the word was because I was a karate instructor. And
Sensei.
A lot of people will say that the student needs to adapt to the teacher's teaching style. And that is a false statement. It's the other way around. The teacher needs to adapt to the student, right? And there's 3 types of learning styles. And the best way for you to teach is to use all 3 of those learning styles while teaching. And then everybody that you're teaching will learn. So let's move on because we can go on for hours and hours and hours on these subjects. Okay. So
I do like to talk.
Right. before I do that, make sure you scroll down in the description. Give all the sponsors of Rasslin Rage and Michigan Independent Weekly a like, a follow, and a subscribe. They make things like the awards happen. They 100% funded by our sponsors. They also help, with new equipment, anything like that. And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor, reach out. It's $20 a month, man. We ain't getting rich. I can tell you that right now. We ain't trying to get rich. We're just doing this because we love indie wrestling, specifically indie wrestling in the state of Michigan. I may be spreading my wings and flying soon, but, enough about me. So let's talk about the first matchup that I want to talk about, and it's the Tiger versus Alex Steele. Okay, I'm going to go first on this one, and I'm going to talk my stuff, and then I'll go into Davison. I have to open it up over here so I can see it, because she sent it to me before there we go. Okay, and I don't know what, she's got her stuff in a different order than what my stuff is in. Let's see here. All right, okay, so here we go. I'm going to start it off with the Tiger, okay? This time, there was no English till the end. I like that. And it wasn't bad the first time. I'm not going to say it was, all right? But I liked, because I was waiting for it, right? Like this time, now that I've had it before, now I'm waiting for it again, but I didn't get it. So it was like the buildup of a techno song where it's like, ch, 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 and then all of a sudden it starts building up, right? Same thing. It gets to the end, and all of a sudden he says something in English, and it was good because he was in close to that camera, and you were looking in his eyes. With that said, though, I liked that. So at the end there, he's like, come closer, right? They say, come closer at the bottom. The camera zooms in, and then he goes, again, right? Like closer again. But then he steps in rather than the camera. This is me being real petty, I guess you could say. But the style that it did, it gave me that feeling of the old Japanese style films, the way that it zoomed and kind of twisted in, okay? So once he stepped in the second time, it took away that whole effect for me, right? Because I was like, oh, man, I wished it would have zoomed in one more time. I don't think that the camera was able to, and that's why that happened. But, hey, I would have liked to seen it. That would have probably been a software thing, right? I'm not dogging on it. I think it was a great promo for what it was. Okay, I'm looking here to see if there's anything I wrote down on that. Yeah, that was really it. Okay, the music was cool. I liked the music. It was very dramatic. It added to the effect. And the graphic in the background of the Tiger, dude. Yes, dude. Yes, yes. That's it, dude. That's it. You're on the right direction, I believe, in my opinion. Okay. So then Alex Steele. Bro, great promo, dude, for real. Great use of voiceover, I might add, too. You're very well spoken. I'll give you that for sure. You got good choice of words, the words that you try, the little hints and jokes that you make during it. You get a lot of emotion out of me because of the laughter that you create. Okay? And then at the end of your promo, and you're like, when boom goes the cannonball, and you come right into the camera, and your eyes are like really big. Really enjoyed it, man. So, and again, this was by far one of the best rounds so far this competition, and
Everyone's stepping it up.
Yeah, and a lot of these are really close.
Almost everyone's stepping it up.
Yeah, almost, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Almost. So, there's only a 0.75 difference in the winner here for me. Okay? And it goes to Alex Steele.
Okay.
All right? And then Davison says, so this is going to be close, then you're going to be the tiebreaker on this one because I got Alex Steele. And Davison says, great Tiger wins. I like the new combination he's found. So, all right. Over to you.
That was it?
Okay. That's it.
I have a lot for both of you. So this was also very, very, very close for me. It was decided by 1 punto. I will start with Great Tiger.
Wait a minute. Punto?
1 point.
I thought punto was something else.
That's punto.
Oh, okay, my bad.
I think, yeah, Pucho, I think is.
I don't know. Okay, let's.
So anyway, yeah, great. That being said, great Tiger. We're gonna start with you. Big improvement. This is going, every single week. It's like more character development, more, and I think the evolution of what this is exactly what Tiger is here for, and exactly what he needs. Because again, I don't like this. Isn't my character. This is completely Great Tiger's brainchild. So this is going to go exactly the way he wants. You know what I mean? And it's for him to play around with. And it's like, I can give you suggestions, but realistically, it's going to come down to like what you want to do. And I did like the English. I did like the throwing the you're not ready for Tiger at the end. It's like, you're not ready for Oscar. I like that. The get closer. I like the cinematography. So here's what I'd like to see. I liked that the body language was there this time. You use the helmet as a prop. I liked that. I liked the again, you said it, the tigers, all that. Mm-hmm. That was great. But the body language and the tone and the cadence, I think it needs to be bigger. And when I say bigger, I think I mean a lot bigger. And I don't know for sure if that's, it definitely needs to be bigger, but I have a feeling the secret formula here is going to be a lot bigger. And I have a feeling that the more silly you get with this, the better it's going to be, if that makes sense.
I'd agree with that.
Right. I almost want you to, like, while you're tigering, like get a good flow and cadence going. Yeah, while you're tigering, get your, like, so right now it's like tiger, but it's kind of like not, you don't have your tiger isms there yet, I don't think, but that will come with time with the character. You'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like Pika, like a Pikachu, you'll like it, weird enough. Like, I feel like after a while, when you listen to a Pikachu, like, by episode like 3 or 4 of watching Pokemon when you're a child, you kind of know what Pikachu's saying. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know, but you kind of know exactly what he's saying. And I feel like that's what I want out of Tiger. Like, you're a Pokemon, essentially, right? Like, you can only say your name. So until you don't, but I feel like every now and then, if you just threw things in, like if you're like in a really big Tiger, Kelly Clarkson, Tiger. It's just like, what? Wait, what did you say?
I like that.
Did you say Kelly Clarkson?
And I'm not sorry to cut in, but I like that because I'm able to feel a whole lot more emotion with that than I am.
Yes.
Tiger. You know what I mean? So I agree with that.
And so on top of that, like, the body language is there, but even fucking bigger. Like, it's like, you're a cartoon. Like, this is a character that is straight. Like, you are straight out of you are a comedy character. Do you know what I mean? You can be taken seriously at times, and like, based on Tiger's size and experience and work rate, like, yes, he's a serious character, but like, for the most part, this is like way over the top. Like, Tiger is for the kids. You know what I mean? The Tiger is for, like, it's the tongue in cheek for the adults and the last for the kids. It's everyone gets over with it. It's intentionally goofy. You know what I mean? And so, like, I want like huge. I want like Tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger.
Like the old Japanese
CD roll. Yes, like that. Where it's like way over the top. Like, again, the old school Japanese movie. Like, okay, do you know how anime characters talk?
Yeah.
Like fucking that. Like, you ever meet somebody in real life who talks like an anime character and you're like, hold the fuck on, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what in the fuck is this? Take it easy, brother. But like, I used to be a professional Yu-Gi-Oh player, right? And to annoy people on purpose sometimes, like, obviously I use the general jargon. I'm pretty slick with it. You know what I mean? It's your turn. Okay. Good game. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like that. But when I want to be obnoxious, I do the anime character. And I'm like, Silence, duelist. Prepare to meet demise. You are against the great Alex Van Zant. I am a top duelist. I am one of the best in not only the United States, but the entire world, as ranked by Konami. You have no chance today, duelist. Silence, duelist. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like that level of stupidity, but like, believe it. So it's not stupid. It's real, and it'll work. I know it will. You know what I mean?
I do.
And like, the more goofiness you just start throwing into that shit, like, it'll be awesome. Like, what if all of a sudden like a cat shows up and you're like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much to play with here. There's so many like think tiger things. Like, what if like a ball of yarn goes by and you're like, tiger, tiger, tiger. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Dude,
so
I would
many
pop.
cool
You just
things.
pop me talking about it. I can see, dude. That'd be fucking great.
Right. It's just like there's so like the world is your burrito, great tiger. There's so much to do. This was fine, but I think there's growing to do. Now,
Oh yeah.
Alex Steele. This was a tale of two promos in one. I was blown away and floored with everything with the voiceover. I absolutely loved it. It was so dramatic. There was so much emotion. The cinematography was there. I love your cadence and I love your tone, and you painted this picture. But then you started your monologue. And here was the monologue. It's in and of itself was good, but you literally did two promos. And here's the problem with what I'm saying. Well, not the problem. Here's what I'm saying. Like, when you ended it, and the monologue was fine, but the epilogue was fantastic. Do you know what I mean? It was like, knock me off my feet, great. And what would have paid that off for me is if you didn't immediately, like, you were so serious and you were sad, and I felt it in my bones. But then it came the monologue. And hey, it's Alex Steele. I'm going to tell you what, you know what I'm saying? You changed the tone and cadence. It completely threw it like ended that serious feeling they had at the beginning. And it's not you're like, I love the comedy. You can do it. You can start talking fast, but you can't do it immediately. So match the tone and cadence that you had there, match the atmosphere, match the vibe, match the feelings, match the body language. So maybe for me, what I would have liked is if it came down to where he's doing the monologue and it's just like, can't believe it's come to this. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then from there, you know, you can start talking a little bit faster and you get going. And now you're getting excited. And now you're Alex Steele. And now you're fired up. And now it's all kinds of fun. And you're going to the buffet and he's eating too much food. And you're 250 pounds of twisted steel and crowd appeal. You know what I'm saying? And now you're appeal. And then you brought it back down and then you hit your finishing line. That's great. I needed that segue there. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that segue. But it was like great and then fine with a weird segue, and it was kind of okay. Both of these were kind of okay for me. They both kind of fell middle of the road. But one of them hit a level at a certain point that like knocked me out of the park, which was Alex Steele, and I did go with Alex Steele. But again, think about making sure that you're keeping your tones and feel consistent. But also, again, great job. You're getting more comfortable. I love it. Just it's the minutia now, right? With both of you, you're already like it's already pretty good. It's just like it's just right there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. It was so close for me. It was right. A 0.75. Okay, it was so close. Okay, so moving on. So we're gonna get into this one because this will be fast and easy. So Jason Blazin versus Avery Hughes.
Really close match.
Yeah, it was real close. No, it wasn't. Anyways, Jason Blazin. So even though you got the DQ victory because Avery Hughes did not turn in a promo, and he apologized, said he was busy, yada, yada, yada. He's going to turn one in next week. Crossing our fingers. So anyways, Jason Blazin looks like he is taking some of the critiques and not taking some of the other ones.
Right.
One of the ones that he did take, I didn't see the belt this time.
Good job.
I didn't see the belt, but he still made mention of him being the greatest, you know. Kudos to that. I did like one of the things that he did that I don't think anybody else did, if I remember correctly, is he created a location.
Yes.
He created a location. He created a timeline. He created a timeline and told me the story of the timeline. And he even made a small joke, right? And I felt at the end, like I really did feel the emotion of him being pissed off towards his tag team partner. And, you know, we talk about, a lot of people ask, are we okay to swear in these? Yes, you're absolutely okay to swear in them, but make it worth it because, you know, just throwing away the F-bomb every 5 minutes like I do when I'm just talking doesn't mean a whole lot, right? It's when you're in a promo and you save it for the right moment, and that moment could be in the beginning. It just depends on where and what you're doing, right? But the way he saved it, I think he did okay. I think that was in a good spot, in my opinion. I'm sure you'll have more to say about that. I did still score him, but he did relatively well. He did okay. I just would like to see a different background. I'd like to see a different spot, not sitting in your chair in your living room, because what dispels you? What makes you different? What makes you different than the guy that's actually sitting in his living room on a couch? You know what I mean? And I don't. Does that right to say? I don't want to sound disrespectful, ABZ.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I got a lot, so don't worry.
Okay, but you know, you're a professional wrestler. You're bigger than life, right? Sitting on your couch in your living room is not bigger than life.
I have some for that. We'll see.
Okay, go ahead.
Davidson? Oh, I'll go. Okay, I'll go right now. Okay. Well, it was really close, but I do think I have to give this one to Jason Blazin. Yeah, so I think it's actually intentional. So I think the no socks on the couch thing, I think it's on purpose.
Okay.
I think it is. And here's the thing. I'm starting to get that, but you aren't doing enough to tell me that. So I think something that would be really good. And if this is what I hope that that's what you're doing. Because if it's just it takes no effort to put on jeans, right? It takes no effort to go up against a wall that doesn't have anything on it, right? But if this is intentional, and I think it is now, you got to let me know it's intentional. And you don't have to tell me. You got to just show me. Show me that it's intentional. Be way over the top with it. You're larger than life. You're a wrestler, right? You're you are in loungewear, but be even loungier. Do you know what I mean? If you want to go with that route where it's fuck it, I'm here on my couch, man. This is my man cave. What's up? Get silly with it. You know what I mean? Why not? I don't even know. Just throw a bunch of extra beer cans on, go over the top with how ridiculous it looks. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you kick your feet up and you instead of no socks, you have one sock and it has no toes. It's just ridiculously beat to shit, right? Maybe that. I don't know. But wherever you are, make use of the space. So it just make it make sense. Do you know what I mean? If it's intentional, make it make sense. And we'll get into that more with some other people down the line. But
can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
So, you're saying, you think it's intentional, but you don't know if it's intentional.
It might be.
So
that's the problem.
Right. And somebody like AVZ may be able to pick up on those minute details, but somebody like myself that's not looking for that, I'm not going to pick up on it. And that's why it doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? So sorry about that. Thank you.
No problem. So here's what I have to say about this. Don't hear what I'm not saying when I'm saying pick your location, right? Don't do it in your bedroom. But if you do it in your bedroom, do it in your bedroom. Do you know what I'm saying? It's you can make that work. Don't do a car promo. But if you're gonna do a car promo, do a fucking car promo.
Make it
Do you know
make
what I'm saying?
sense.
Well, yeah, like if you're gonna do it, show me why, make it make sense, and then I'm all about it, right?
Yep.
Like, why are you where? I don't know. You know what I mean? Make it make sense. So if you're at a goofy spot, or if like, you know, you're on your couch or whatever, tell me why you're on your couch. You know what I mean? Finally, Jason Blazin gets a weekend off, just week after week, match after match, scrub after scrub. I just got to be everybody. Oh, I got all these wrestling seminars I got to give. I got to just teach all these new kids how to wrestle. And man, is that exhausting. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I can't wait to just sit here and drink my nice cold cool. I don't even know, like my nice cold beer, and you fucking pour into like a sippy cup. I don't fucking know, but get goofy with it. It's fine. So here's my as far as the promo itself goes. You slipped quite a bit. Like there were quite a bit of I noticed like breaks in the thought process. So I liked it when you did like the Uncle Avery thing, but again, you like half did it. You did it, but you like, and you went like all the way kind of. Do you understand what I'm saying? You like, you did the voice and you did the stuff, but the context around it didn't like sell it. Do you know what I mean? Where like that could have been an even bigger moment. And I think that like, I feel like one of the problems is you have so much you want to say, but you're having trouble making it make sense for your character to say it, if that makes sense. So I think in a way, like, again, I have to speculate here because I'm not you. I'm trying to do the best I can to try to get into your brain and do my best, right? When I said, you know, you are not the championship, that doesn't mean you don't have it with you. You can have it with you. Point it to it. Okay, you're the champion. Cool. And then because I'm the champion, you know what I'm saying? You know, one of the things that you did here was you kind of half started to introduce yourself and then stopped and then didn't. And you can, that's fine. You started to like, I'm Jason Blazin and I'm actually, you already know who I am. And that's fine, but I felt like you got too far into the intro with that. Like you did too much explaining who you are. If you're going to do that, you got to cut it off kind of quick. Otherwise it kind of gets, it gets a little weird. It gets, even though it's intentional, it kind of sounds unintentional, which isn't good. And then, so it's like you have a lot of clever lines and you have a lot of clever zingers, but what's not happening for, okay, I think I know how to explain this. You have a lot of clever lines and zingers, but you don't have the in the middle. You don't have the connective tissue to make them all flow together through Jason Blazin's voice. And so as a result of that, you kind of come in and out. Do you know what I'm saying? You're kind of coming in and out, in and out. And it's like you're thinking and then you're switching thought processes and then you're there and you're like, oh shit, I could say this. And then, oh shit, I can say, like, I was going to say, oh, this is clever. And like you're spending too much time being clever and not enough time being in the moment. You know what I mean? You're not living it. You're saying words, but you're not living the words. You did at the end when you started swearing and you started like, I feel like the swear words like kind of helped you find that voice. You don't need the swear words to do it, but I think that they did help because you were getting stronger and stronger and stronger as you built up steam at the end. And I think that's probably who you really are. Do you know what I mean? When you're doing all of that and not trying as hard to get your shit in, if that makes sense. You're a wrestler. I can explain. Okay. Right now it's like a match of a very talented wrestler who is doing a bunch of cool moves, but you're not doing the in-between that makes sense to be doing them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they all kind of tell a story-ish, but it's like, you're just doing a bunch of moves. It's not like telling that up and down story. It's like the moves are there, but the selling kind of isn't. And you're not like, you're like the guy who's like did a bunch of spots and then I'm going to run into place. It's like, no. Like naturally sell into that spot. You need to get to a spot. Don't get in place. Like find a way to naturally end up in that place. And I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Promos are matches, matches are promos. It's like it's the walk and talk of the promo itself that I feel like is a little bit lacking here. And I might be wrong completely. I don't know, but that's what it's sounding like to me. And so, you know, you have a lot of good ideas and you have a lot of zingers and it's really, really clever, but sometimes less is more. And let your character and who you are do the walking. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, get where you're going naturally, as naturally as you can. I know I'm talking myself around in circles. I just like to talk. You know how it is. You can, you know, I'm trying to figure it out as I go myself, but it's weird because you're not like, if you were right here and we could go back and forth and talk about it, like Jason, this would be like infinitely easier because I could get your feedback as we're going and we can kind of piece this together. But yeah, you're like, the pieces are there.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the formula. You just got to put it together the right way to figure it out. Like we're trying to figure out like new kind of fusion or something.
And weirdly, it's like figure it out by thinking less.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna throw Davison her notes here. Jason Blason had some real fire, which was nice. Felt like 1970s NWA for a minute there. Some sloppy word choices, but I like the energy much more. So she, you know, that's what she gave. So we're going to move on to the next, and I'm going to let you go first on this one. All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, so we got Eddie Dillon versus Mason Keller.
Okay. Good.
The opportunity to take a puff.
Sweet. Let's start with Mason Keller. You stammered a little bit when you were talking about like black and white coming into color. There was another couple like little stammers in there, but this is much improved from like your first promo. And this was more emotional than your second promo. The second promo was almost like, it was like punt on the intro promo, punt on the first promo, boom, you hit. And on like the last one, it was like a really good intro promo. I'm like, good. Yes, that. And this one, it was like, you know, not as much of the gaming stuff. That's okay. Like, you know, maybe a little bit more. Like all that it takes is take off, like start it with your gaming headset and just take it off. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, man, you know? And so you have happy feet. I'll say that. So in wrestling, they say you have happy feet. If, you know, you have a lot of unnecessary movement, your footwork isn't really down, but mostly the reason you have happy feet is because you're nervous. And I can see that, you know, I can see the nervousness, like you're kind of pacing and walking and stuff like that. And it's like, I understand that your character in this moment would be pacing and walking around a little bit, but when you're doing it nervously, it's like, you can tell because it's like too much. It's too much walking around and too much moving. And your eye, you need to control your eyes because like you're not focusing. Yeah, I get that you want to take your eyes down and you want to do this, and that's fine, especially with like the emotion that you're giving in this promo, right? Like it would make sense for you to just, you know what I mean? But not, you know what I'm saying? So, again, that's going to come with time and being more comfortable and understanding who you are and what it is. And right now you're probably scripting a little bit, and that's fine. You know, that's a good way to go because I do feel like you delivered a solid monologue. The stammers and stuff like that weren't severe. They were mostly just like, I can tell it's happening when you're in the middle of a sentence that doesn't require a break. And it's like when the pauses aren't where they're supposed to be, I can tell that like it was a quick brain fart there, and then you got back on track. And that happened like a couple of times, but pretty good and solid all the way there. And I'm believing you. You know what I mean? I do believe you, which is a big deal because, you know, I can tell that you're nervous, but I still believe your words. And I think that's a big deal. That's like half the battle. So, you know, just get more used to it. Like maybe do it a few more times and try to really control the happy feet, the moving around, the eyes. You know, don't hear what I'm not saying. Do move around. Do the eyes, but don't like go overboard. And you know what I mean. And so maybe something that'll help. I don't know. Trying to think of something that might help you with this, but it's not really coming to me right now. It might come to me later in the thing. So I'll let you know then if it happens. But you know, much improved. Lots of emotion. I enjoyed this actually. I enjoyed this. I think this was your best. From a speaking perspective, this was the strongest I felt. And you're like right there, man. You're like right there. You're getting close. It's coming together. That's what I have to say. It's coming together. Eddie Dillon, great visuals as always, right? Great cinematography. You always do the great cinematography. You stammered on when you said ran its course a little bit. That's okay. Like it's gonna happen a little bit here. I believe what you're saying because you believe what you're saying, and I think that's a big deal. When you said everyone knows who the better man is, you had a pause in there that was a little unnatural, and we could kind of like tell that you were thinking. And so here's where you're at, right? The emotion is good, the monologue is good, the cinematography is fantastic. It's good. See what I mean? It's good. But it can be, you need to figure out how to make it great. Because right now is good, and you're going to get some wins, and you're not going to make a fool of yourself if you did that live. It would be a totally fine promo. But if you deliver that promo live, you know, it'll be like, oh, that was a promo. That was a good one. Okay, I kind of understand who this character is. But no one's going to be like, holy shit, get, you know, Scott D'Amore on the line right now. Here he is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's not bad. That's good. But like, I see it in you. You know what I mean? I see it in you. And I think something that's going to help you is a few more level changes. You speak very slowly. That's good. But I want to see you change tempo, because I feel like if you change tempo don't do it a lot, maybe only once, but when you do it, it's going to mean so much more because of how deliberate and slow and intelligent everything that you're saying is. So when you start to get a little bit angry and you start to go a little bit faster and you start to think a little bit faster and you start to get a little bit angry, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying the same words over and over again, and you can, you know, just figure that out. You know what I mean? It builds and then boom, ended on like your catchphrase. It was good. Eddie Dillon won this one for me, but it was fairly close.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to Davison's first. Ooh, say it again.
It was 30-28.
30. Oh, okay. So I'm going to tell you what Davison said. Eddie Dillon wins this round for her. Hold on. I got to mark this down. Where's my pen? Okay. So Eddie Dillon and Eddie Dillon. All right. So Eddie Dillon wins. Mason did much better, but needs to keep improving his confidence. So kind of what AVZ said. Eddie needs to find more cohesion, but he did well. So I'll give you mine here. So Mason, I like what you're saying there. Like it did make sense at certain times for you to kind of be looking away and be frustrated in your character and with this, not the stipulation, but the thing we gave you with the tag team. That does make sense. But what he's saying is you're looking away way too much. And what that does for me is failing to help me create that connection with you, right? I'm having a hard time creating a connection with your character. Your words and the emotion in which you used the words, I found you very sincere, right? Very believable in that instance. But I'm not getting enough eye contact to create the connection, the whole thing, get it all there. But still a great promo, still good. Just working out the kinks, man. That's what we're doing. We're working out the kinks, and that's what this is for.
Absolutely.
Right.
You're like, everyone, like both of you improved. So
All right, now Eddie Dillon. So we're seeing, like we were talking about in some of the previous promos that Eddie Dillon did. I just want to bring this up, is that he was doing a lot of cinematography and not enough Eddie Dillon, right? So now we're seeing a whole lot more Eddie Dillon and a lot less cinematography. Yeah, which is great. But I will say this here: there's always going to be a but, right? But so in this specific promo, right, you make mention of him being the geek and the video games and codes and all that stuff. Okay, so you know his character, and it was weird for me that when you said something about the lore of video games and then it cut away and it was this video of a pond, and it didn't go with what you were saying, so it wasn't really needed, right? Could there have been like maybe a video game getting thrown into a pond? I don't know if you can find stock footage like that. Maybe you could create footage like that, but I just don't think it was needed. I really don't. It still was a good promo. I just think sometimes a little bit less is more. In that instance, I think less is more. You got something you want to say?
No.
Oh, okay. I seen you holding that up there like, well, you can't.
No, it's just in short.
Okay, all right. I did like at the ending of towards the ending of the promo where I got it right now, where Phase okay, so that he says something, he comes into the camera, it fades out, he's back, he walks back into the camera, it fades out again, and he's back, right? And he keeps walking in. I did like that effect. I liked that effect. That was fit very well, right? That was in a good spot. As far as when we're talking about something and you make a statement and then it cuts to a video, the video it had no additive to it. It didn't do anything. We didn't need it. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just telling you, bro, you didn't need it. It was just, you didn't need it. It's that simple. But Eddie Dillon did win this one. And it was 1.3. So you got him by 1.3. Very good. Good stuff. But keep that going. Work on those things. And you'll get better, man. You're already getting better, so that's good. All right. Now we're going to go over to Ethan James and Fletch Malone.
Ooh, I loved this one. Yeah. I absolutely loved this one.
Okay. This one was pretty close for me, too. A lot of these were less than a point, man. So, and I'm not really hard on you guys, but, now that we're in the third round, I'm judging a little bit. Like if you come at me with some really high emotion and I really feel your promo, instead of giving you an 8 or an 8.5, I might give you an 8.7. You know what I'm saying? And the judges all talked, not before this round, but in the beginning, like, hey, like this is our base, and then we're gonna go up or down from this base so that we're all relatively in the same spot, and it's not like ABZ's got it like 40 and I got it at 2, right? It's pretty relatively close, all right? So Ethan James, I'm going to start with you. Well, actually, I'm going to start with Fletch. Let's start with Fletch. I said this in one of the group chats that Fletch and Davison has made a mention of this before too, that you get the blurred lines aspect with Fletch because you don't know what's real and what isn't. Right, with Fletch when he's doing a promo. And in the way that he cut this promo, you felt a lot of emotion. Like I felt the emotion. I felt it. I did personally myself with Fletch.
You could hear like the desperation in his voice.
Yeah, it was very raw emotion. And anybody that knows me and knows what I love about professional wrestling, it is the raw emotion. I love the raw emotion. If you've ever, like, when I do commentary, I don't find out the results. I don't want to know anything. I want to have a natural reaction because I'm a firm believer in the raw emotion. I believe that raw emotion is what makes professional wrestling the best thing ever, okay? And so kudos to you for getting that raw emotion out of me because when I feel that raw emotion, sometimes it almost brings me to tears, and that's You didn't bring me to tears, but if you did, you'd have been scoring some extra points, right? I did beat you up on creativity, though. All right, and I'm going to tell you why. Because, and I don't mean it in a bad way, because we've seen you in these different spots so far, and you made the last one work really well. You were outside, and it worked for the promo. This time you're in the house. This time you're sitting in a chair, and yeah. So now, Ethan James, you made me laugh. You made it fun. Your music, I'm paying attention to a lot of different things that I normally don't did before, because now, again, we're into the third round. The way you inserted the music, the way that music inserted as you dialed it up a notch, beautiful. Because it ramped me up. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go. Here we go. Here it comes. Woo! Yeah, right? I did. I felt it. It was great. It added to the fact, and it hit right in the right spots, man. For me, Ethan James won this one for me. Where's my pen, damn it? I keep losing shit, ABZ. What's going on here? Ethan James won this. Again, this one was pretty dang close. Let me see.
Davison?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Davison right now. Oh, yeah, here we go. So Fletch beats Ethan. Okay, this is hers. Fletch beats Ethan, but it was super close. The difference was the believable emotional content. And Davison, and this isn't in her notes. I just remember this from some of our past judgings. She said she's always going to go with the more emotion. The more she connects to the emotion, she said that's what she's going to go with. And Fletch, you got her on that. So right now it's tied. Oh boy, here we go.
It's critique time. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying both of these were very, very, very strong promos. I liked both of them. Both of them told me exactly who they are. And so at this point, I got to get nitpicky. And, there's another couple guys that I'm going to talk about later, that we're going to talk about later on. And like, these two are right there. They're all like, I think they're right there in this category that I'm about to talk about, where there's some people in this competition where there's, you got it already. You know what you're doing. You got it. And so you can have a bad day. You can go with something stylistically that might not work as well. But now, in order to, if you're one of these top guys, anyone who's at that level can beat anyone else, just depending on the day. Like, one person does something, takes a risk, and it doesn't work. One person takes a risk and they hit pay dirt. But at that point, you're going to have to take risks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so in the critiquing, at a certain point, I'm not really going to be able to give you critiques. I can give you suggestions. Because at a certain point, there's a definitive wrong way to do things. I'm stealing this from someone much wiser and more important in the business than me. And I'm stealing this advice. There's a definitive wrong way to do things, right? But there's a million right ways to do things. So once you start cooking with gas, you can start doing all kinds of shit. You know what I mean? There's a million different ways to make it good. There's a lot of ways to make it bad, but once you know all those pitfalls and not to fall in them, you're golden. And now all I can do is offer you things that I think might be cool, right? And you can choose to use them. You can choose not to. Again, all of this, right? Use it or don't. But do use it when it's when I'm talking to you about something that you need to work on. So, but with both of these guys, very, very good. So I'll start with Fletch. A lot of emotion. It's been said. I could tell the desperation in your voice. I fucking loved that. I loved how you opened this promo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for opening it like that. You were in an emotional state and you didn't get to the talking right away. You let the moment breathe. And I think sometimes when you create a moment, you can talk with your face. And you talk with your body, and you talk with the silence. If you can harness how to talk with the silence, you're playing on another level, right? And especially if you can do that live, because, the best people are going to just command things. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best promos, some of the best promo guys, and some of the best segments get the fans on their feet in the moment when the talking stops. Do you know what I'm talking about with that? Where, okay, CM Punk, one of the greatest promos of all time, his most infamous promo of all time, what did he do? He sat on the ramp and he didn't start talking for a while. And he would say a little bit and then he would stop. And then he would pipe bomb on. And then he really got going. You know what I mean? But before he got going, he let you know some shit was going to go down. And he let you know some shit was going to go down by saying nothing. And that is what Fletch did. He told the story with his face and then he got going. And I fucking loved that. The desperation in the voice, just so great. Like it's like anger and sadness, but mixed with hope. It was just like, you can't pretend that you have to be it. So whether it's real or whether it's not, you are it in that moment. And that's what I'm trying to say for the other people when I say I don't believe you. It's because not everyone just feels one emotion. You don't just feel anger. Like when AVZ is getting like mad, I'm not just mad, I'm prideful and I'm a little bit scared, but I'm showing you that I'm also not scared, that I'm also confident. And because all of these different feelings are coming in at once. You know what I mean? It's not one thing. The direction is I'm pissed, right? But you feel all those other little bits and pieces that make your character who they are. Like I think Alex Steele did a good job with that at the beginning of his promo when he was doing the monologue. He was hopeful and he was, kind, and he was scorned and he was upset. But you know what I mean? But he was going to try to fix it, but he was going to fix it in the way he knew how, and the only way that he had left. And I feel like Fletch, he was digging deep and you could just feel it in his voice. This is not really for Fletch. This is for everyone else who maybe I've told, like, I don't believe you all the way at certain points. This is what I'm talking about. Fletch Malone. Listen to what he did, because you can't fake that emotion. It's all of the things. I'm feeling it all at once. It's a 3-dimensional character that Fletch you have created now. This is so different from the Vape God. The Vape God was a character. This is a person. This person is real and he's breathing and he has a backstory. I guarantee you, if I asked you what this character eats for breakfast, you can tell me what time they wake up in the morning. You can tell me what they did when they were 3 years old on the playground. You can tell me the traumatic moments that made him who he is. Like, that is what this character is. That's what, and I believe that you can do this at any moment. You don't need to script it. You can be this Fletch Malone that honestly is very likable. It feels like, honestly, I think it's like a modern Raven almost. Like those Raven promos that he would cut. Like, this is kind of like that. Now, I do have to nitpick. Here's where it is. In the final line where so right before you delivered your final line and your closer, you know what I'm saying? When you finish the sentence and you kind of, I can't remember what it was. I didn't write it down. But you stopped and you stayed focused on the camera and then you said your line. I don't want to say don't, because like you're playing at a level where like there is no don't, but you could that wasn't it. You lost a little, you slowed down on the finish line for me a little bit. And what you could have done to drive that back home for me is end how you started, with silence. And you just, in that final moment, instead of just staring at the camera, that moment, now hit that line. Do you know what I mean? Like, make the silence the loudest part of your promo right there. You know what I'm saying? That would have put it over the edge for me. Another thing, like, I actually didn't mind you being in the chair in the room. I think that's fine. For now. Creativity, like, I'm not going to dock you for it. I didn't think it was like horribly uncreative. I just didn't think it was terribly creative. You have props. You have a chair. Use it. You're in a chair. turn it around. What I liked is you did a little bit. You squirmed in the chair. You used it a little. Use it more. That's your prop. It's a chair. It's a prop. It's a wall. It's a prop. Everything is a prop. Everything. The cameraman is a prop. The camera is a prop. You know, this hair tie in my hair right now is a prop. Everything is something to make what you say just a little bit more real, you know. And I didn't think you needed to, but you could turn that chair around if you really wanted to. You know what I mean? You could have gotten up, there's so many things you could have done with it. You did a little. It was good. Honestly, I really like this. Again, you're playing at that level now. This is the Fletch Malone that's like, Ethan James. Every single critique that I told you to do, you fucking did. And you did it masterfully. You told me exactly who you are. You're a dick around workup artist. You feigned the sincerity at the beginning, and I believed you. And here's what you did. Finally, you did it. You told the story with your eyes, and you told it with your face. Okay? And you used the music, you used a tempo change, you used the cadence change, you used a whole feel. The character changed at halfway through, like not even halfway, like maybe a third through the promo, changed completely. And you did it seamlessly. That's next level shit. Okay? Next level shit. I gave you props, Alex Steele. Take notes on that. The transition was seamless. It made sense. Everything did. The music, the body language, the eyes. And he was seething by the end. You know what I mean? We finally got that. And yeah, you weren't screaming and yelling because Ethan James doesn't scream and yell. He has a plan. He's smart. And you told me that. But you also told me you're ready to fuck a guy up. And I don't have a critique for you at all. And for that, my vote goes to Ethan James.
All right. Well, Ethan James it is on that one. So, and that, again, that was very close. And you can tell this has not been an easy round at all to judge. As you were talking, I was thinking I did want to point this out, well, because I do see there's quite a few people in the chat. I do want to point out that this has been the best round so far of the three rounds. Number one, most everybody are taking this, and no offense to the first group and no offense to the second group, but in my opinion, this has been the best group to actually learn. And actually take what is being said by me, ABZ, and Davison, make it work and use it to make themselves better, which this is what it's all about. This is not about my ego, ABZ's ego, because nobody's ego. This is about making you better so that the promo game in Michigan or in the independents altogether eventually gets way better. You have to do it. This is how you have to figure it out somehow. And this is how we figured it out. This is the one way I can make that happen, right? All right, so now we're getting into some heavy hitters. All right, we're going to get into these heavy hitters. We got one, two, three, four more to go. Making sure, yep, four. All right, so I'm going to say, this is the ladies tonight, right? The ladies versus the lady versus lady match. Okay, so it was Summer Rawson versus Annie O'Neal. Man, oh man, are these two a force to be reckoned with? And this one, in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, I literally believe that these two were a tag team. Like when they cut their promos against each other and their emotion and everything, like they legit sold me on the fact that they were a tag team. Like if I was not in this and as a judge and was watching those promos, I would have thought that they were a tag team. Like no bullshit. Okay. I'm going to, this one was probably the hardest for me to judge. One of the hardest to judge. All right. So I'm going to start with Annie. Annie, this. The confidence compared from the last promo to this promo, oh my God. So much better. And I'm not want to take away from what you've been doing, okay? But the difference in your level of confidence from this promo to the last one is huge. Huge. I think you found your spot that you need to be in. Yes, we can still critique it and make it better, but we found where you're comfortable in. So AVZ on the last critiques, he hit this on the nose, and I think we're getting in the right direction, okay? I love the improvements here. I pointed out the difference in confidence. You're very intense in this one, by the way. I'm not used to Annie this intense. Knowing you outside of this, right, and knowing the person that you are, this is very intense for me to see you as. Somebody that may not know you may be like, oh my God, right? I feel your emotion. And the eye contact. The entire time you looked at that camera, you did not look away one time. Not once. So kudos on you for that. All right? Now on to Summer. So I am going to give Summer all kinds of flowers on this one, and here's why. Mm-hmm. Summer Rawson is not trained in professional wrestling yet. Summer Rawson is currently helping out in the independents, doing ring setup, whatever they need done. Okay? Summer Rawson is still in high school and has not graduated. Okay? Summer Rawson is on spring break vacation in New York. And Summer Rawson still turned in a promo. Let me say that one more time. She was in New York on spring break vacation and still turned in a promo. And what that tells me already, that her work ethic is already where it needs to be, to where she will be successful in this business. This is facts. And
it's not even just, I just want to piggyback off you, because I want to echo your statement. You're absolutely right. It's not even just that. Like, before even she was like 16, she was coming to shows asking every person that she could for advice. How can I do this? What can I do? How can I get better? I want to do this. What do I need to know? How do you do this? Setting up rings. She's not even a trainee yet. You know how hard it is to get trainees to set up rings? Yeah. Like that doesn't even happen. It's hard. You know how hard it is to get people who just graduate, they're actual wrestlers fighting for a spot, to get them to set up a ring? Almost impossible. She goes to everything. She asks everyone questions. She paid for her class at the House of Truth a year in advance. A year in advance. What the fuck? Like, that's insane. Like, all of this, again, like you said, I was listening to a Becky Lynch I was listening to an interview with her, right?
Okay.
And she was talking about, she was like, man, when I started, I sucked. I was awful at everything. It was terrible, but I fucking wanted it. And everyone knew I wanted it. And you know who wins? The person who wants it the most, because she went from, I guess, sucking in her own words to being the man,
right?
The top draw. She the first ever to headline WrestleMania as a woman. Like, it's crazy. Like, and the sky is the limit for Summer. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep it up. Mm-hmm. So, man, Cody, you cannot be more right about that.
Right.
You cannot be more right.
So, this is more about me giving her flowers for, her work ethic and what she's doing here. But I want to put it here, ladies and gentlemen. Summer Rawson, she is the future of professional wrestling.
Yeah, right.
Is. Not going to be, is. All right. I want you all to put that down, write that down, put it somewhere, put a pin in it, like they say in Bolt. Put a pin in it, put it up there, and hold it, because I'm telling you, you're looking at it, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking at it. So, oh yeah, and the fact that she turned in a high quality promo while on the road in New York, amazing. Okay, everything she did here, I actually, and I want to point this out too. I'm sorry, Annie, but you went against a really good promo this week, and I'm gonna tell. So I'm gonna. Summer Rasslin wins, but I have had people in the business reach out to me specifically about Summer Rasslin and how interested they are in her career going forward, because they want to work with you. And I'm not talking women, I'm talking men, right? They want to work with you. Keep this up. Oh yeah, Davison, my bad, sorry. Summer beats Annie. So let me write this down. In my closest contest of the week, she says, Summer invented a word, I think. A foot two. That's what she put in parentheses. A space FOOTTO. I don't know. Annie was so much better than ever before, but Summer was more smooth and cohesive. Okay. So that's all I have to say. And Summer, you're fucking amazing, kid. Keep going.
Cool. So it's been said, you guys are awesome. I will stop everything that's said about Summer. Like I want to give props to Annie too, right? She's been in this for a long time. She doesn't give up. She keeps going. She fucking busts her ass.
Yep.
You keep going too. So, all right.
Yeah, like I said, nothing. Annie, I love you. You did great here. You really did, and that's why I wanted to give you both equal time and tell you both everything. You did a great. Don't let the fact that Summer took the win on this one discourage you, because you're heading in the right fucking direction, and that is for sure.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, yes. Like my vote is now rendered not that relevant, but I will tell you, like, I have critiques for both of you, because you are very, very good, and you are further than you were yesterday by a lot, and you're further than you should be. There is still room for improvement on both of you. And again, this is going to come down to, going from that good to great. And so for both of you, I think something that's a factor is understanding your character. So you're kind of fighting two battles here, where you're not just doing promos. You're kind of in the process of figuring out the very first version of your character itself. And your character is going to evolve dramatically. You might scrap the first version of the character that you do. Okay, I did. All right. No one knows this because I never did it on a show, but my very first character was actually Dread King Logan knows this because he actually he really liked it. It was a comedy character where, because I was a professional gamer, I had the world's strongest thumb, but my thumb had become too strong, and it was a person, and my finisher was the Samoan Spike. But also my thumb would just start doing things that I wasn't like, you know what I mean? It was like its own character, like Tonguey, and but it was like a comedy character. It was its own thing. It was a comedy baby face. Whenever I was in a submission, my thumb would just like slowly find its way into a thumbs up, and then no, don't do it. Boom in the butt. You know what I mean? Like it was or like I did like a practice match where I had the referee disqualify my thumb because my thumb kept on poking him in the eye, but I was like, it's not me, it's him. And so like I had to wrestle with my arm. Like it was a whole thing, but that was nothing compared to that. I started doing the Crazy Rich Asians character that kind of was the first like 5 matches for me. And then it became the star, like the Sultan of Starbucks, where I was kind of a comedy character. And then it just evolved and evolved and evolved and evolved to where I am. Like, but I'm just talking about myself only. I don't mean to do that, like, to speak, like, to put myself over. I'm just saying that because, I'm going to speak about myself because that's who I know best. And that's the example I can give you here. But you can look at a million different characters and a million different, like, people. Like, look at Dread King Logan himself. The vet, he's so good. But look how much he's evolved. Like, his character has morphed over the years. You know what I mean? Look at how
promos have morphed over the years.
Right. Absolutely. Like, so that being said, you're still working on the very first version of the character you're going to bring to market. So both of you. And that's more apparent with Annie right now than with Summer, because I think Summer has a better idea of what that is right now. So Annie, what I loved was that you were doing sprawl drills at the beginning of your promo. Bring that in more. All right. That's who you are. The jiu-jitsu thing. I like the Book of Shadows thing. I like, be careful with the supernatural stuff, because the supernatural stuff, like, if you're a wrestler, it's kind of hard to work with, to be totally honest with you. It just is. Like, how great of a character is the Fiend? But look what happened. You kind of end up, it's difficult to work with something that's like magic, but it's also kind of hard to do a character that's magic because, like, you have to find your own lore. You're trying to create your own lore when you're dealing with the supernatural. So every time you were talking about the jiu-jitsu, every time that you were like, you brought that in this time, I think I want to see it more, because that is who you are. That's your special sauce, man. Like, Annie, you can choke a bitch out, right? Not just a bit. You can choke a guy out. You, like, one wrong move, and like you can choke out the Big Show, and that's what jiu-jitsu is. And maybe that's part of your character, right? It's like, hey, you're bigger than me, you're stronger than me, but like, one wrong move, carotid artery, put the blood off to your brain, night night. So I mean, that could be part of it. And the intensity you brought this time, you did something. You had a couple of little slips in there that I noticed. I don't think a lot of people would, because you kept that intensity up. And when you're angry, when you're that level of angry, occasionally you're going to slip over your own words. And that is disguising. You're making it part of it. And that's exactly what I told you to do. And that was great. Good. I'm not going to mark you down for that at all. In fact, it's actually kind of a plus, because you were able to disguise it this time. You know what I mean? You're going to get better at that, and eventually they're not going to be a thing. There's not going to be as many slip-ups. But I think all of the lore and stuff like that, you're getting a little convoluted. Bring it in. Rein it in. Rein it into exactly who Annie is. Start thinking about it. It doesn't have to be all demons and warlocks and stuff like that. You can do a little. You can have the Book of Shadows. It can, you might have the demon type character you can tap into, but like, mix it with what you got. You know what I mean? You ever watch Naruto? I don't watch it all the way through, but there you go. There's a little bit magic, and there's a lot of it fighting, and you're a fighter. Like, that's your special sauce. People can't do what you do. And that's going to translate to the ring, because what are we doing? We're simulating it's combat, right? So, if you were going to come into a match with me and you're talking about Alexa Bliss, like, possessing me and shit like that, I'm going to be a little more about the match than if you were like, oh shit, you're like this. Like, it's harder to tell that story. It's like, oh, we can do this, but it's going to be tricky. Like, but if you were, this fighter character who, like, it's like, oh shit. Like, I'm not telling you to change your character at all. I'm telling you to do both. You know what I'm saying? You brought it in here. I want to see more. Maybe play with it. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're more comfortable doing the other thing, but like, rein it in. You know what I mean? It's a few things. The Undertaker was a zombie. Cool. But then it was like a zombie wizard, and then it got weird. And it was like, I'm just gonna be a biker for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, Undertaker in his best version of his character was not really supernatural, but he wasn't. He still had to sell. You know what I mean? He could still do spooky things occasionally, but he wasn't the zombie he was at the beginning. But you know what he was? He was a fighter. Think about that. Good. This was good for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Summer, here's what I want to see from you. Yes, the audio was a little bit wonky because of your location with the trains. Cool location. Sure, that's going to happen. Yeah, but here's what you didn't do. You didn't tell me why you were there. You didn't bring the trains into it. There's so much meat on the bones with a cool location like that with the trains. There's so much there's so much metaphor you could have used about we're two trains passing in the night. One is coming, one is going. And you know what I'm saying? Like you could have maybe thrown a little of that alliteration in it. Again, this is just a suggestion. You didn't have to do that. But here I have the opposite critique for you that I did for Great Tiger. I know that you're a stage performer and it's showing. It's almost too much, but it's almost too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying this because, and again, I don't know, maybe it's not. We're kind of on that level, right? There's a lot of right ways to do things, but I think you're going to find a little bit more juice when you rein that in a little bit, right? Because we're right here, right? I understand everything is big in wrestling, everything is big in performance. But when you're talking to me, and yeah, I'm a larger than life character, I'm going to more than I normally would, but you're gonna you're kind of a cartoon. You're ranging into the cartoon range where you're kind of an anime character. And that's fine, but it's also your character's grounded in reality. So that being said, again, it's not wrong if you want to be that anime character, but if you're going to do it, everything into it. Do you know what I mean? It's you're going to have to fundamentally change a little bit how your thought, how you think. But if you want to be more realistic and more whoever Summer Rawson is, and do your if you can elevator pitch me the character of Summer Rawson in 30 seconds to a minute, you're golden. Practice that. Annie, you too. Practice getting Annie O'Neill in an elevator pitch in 30 seconds to a minute. Because then you're going to trim all the extra fat. You're going to make it simple, digestible, and then you can bring all the rest in. And let the humanity of it speak for itself. Again, if you're going to be more realistic, less like an anime character. I don't know how to say that any better, but figure it out. I don't know. You're doing good. Both of you are doing great. Summer won for me too. It was close. Yeah. Best scores for each of you. This was the best scores you've gotten thus far. It was a 30 and a 32.
This here for me was by 0.2 points.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's how close it was for me. So now so again, like I said, we're getting into these heavy hitters, right? So now we're moving on to Road Rash versus Trevor Stroud.
Stogie two.
Let's see here. So I'm going to go right into Davison. She says Road Rash beats Trevor Stroud by 1 point. More character development that I wanted from Road Rash. Trevor did great all around, though. So Trevor Stroud won it for me, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Road Rash's edits are taking away from his promo. There's a couple edits in there in the beginning where it cuts and it just didn't make sense and it was really weird and it threw it all off for me. Right from there, it was wow, you know what I mean? That one edit. Trevor Stroud, he had great delivery. He was right in the camera and the whole flip of the camera to get as a prop. He used the camera as a prop. That's for me. I believe that the edits. I don't have a lot of notes on this one because they were pretty dang. It's just the edits took it away from me on Road Rash, man. just like last time. I don't know what happened, man. But so Trevor Stroud for me.
Okay, so I get to break the tie on this one. Fun.
Again.
This is how you know this is a good week, right? Because there's a lot of, so Road Rash is really good, right? Obviously, we already know that you're one of those guys playing at another level. This wasn't it for me this week though, because the way you opened it, I did feel like there was a stamina there, even though I understand that you were like switching between the cameras. Felt like you stammered a little on the opening line. But Road Rash stammers, that's part of his character. He's crazy. But it like the opening bit with the mandible claw and like you're cutting back and forth. I think what you're trying to do is like the devil on your shoulder, like you're killing like it was like your inner monologue coming to life. It was a bit too meta for me. I got it. If I was watching for the first time, I'd have no idea what the fuck you were talking about. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? And then you got into the monologue, and the monologue was just fine. And it was intense, but it wasn't Road Rash intense. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't Road Rash. Like, where's your hammer? Where's like all that? Like, where's the stuff? Where's the juice? I wanted the juice.
Where's the stuff?
Give me the juice. You didn't give me the juice. And it was I think you out created yourself. It was one of those things where like, you fixed what wasn't broke. You know what I mean? You tried to fix what wasn't broke. But don't hear what I'm not saying. Take risks, do different shit, right? But don't take away from what makes Road Rash so fun to begin with. You know what I mean? What makes him so good. And, you took a risk and it wasn't there for me this week. I didn't much care for it, but I thought it was a little bit confusing. I thought it would confuse a lot of people. So that was that. You were intense, but weirdly, I thought that Trevor Stroud out intense the king of intense this week in a way. Yeah. I loved the use of the camera. And there was a lot of emotion. And I really liked that. You see, he didn't just use the camera as a prop. It's bare bones for him, right? It's not all these big sets. He's in the darkness, right? Again, Sin City, but he uses glasses as a prop. You love to see it. He used the camera as a prop. You love to see it. I love the black and the black and red contrasting there. That looks great. One thing I might suggest to you is you opened with Road Rash, aka opponent. And that's not wrong. It's just fine. It's a cliche, and it's like I can't remember. It was in my critiques actually, I think for Jason Blazin, but I just didn't say it. I think he said like you see, like the you see is like you can do it, but like yeah. How does your character say it? You know what I mean? And so with Road Rash, like you're better than that. You know what I mean? It's good. It was fine. The rest of the promo was really good, but that's where we're at now. We're nitpicking that, right? We're nitpicking like the little stuff, right? I don't believe that Trevor Stroud, the character, is going to go Road Rash. You know what I mean?
Not like that. No, definitely.
No. And that's kind of how you did it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you want to know someone who does that, but so you can do that and it's fine, or you can do it and it's great, or you can do something else and make it your own. And when I say someone who does it and it's their thing, I'm talking about the Suplex Shogun. Well. You know what I mean? But he doesn't just go, well.
No.
He goes, well. Yes. And that's his thing. So that's like, you know what I mean? But he doesn't just do it. He does it all the way.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
All the time, every time.
So I think you might need to find out how Trevor Stroud starts promos, and it's not necessarily a catchphrase, but it's just like in your mindset, how does he enter that situation, right? How does this guy find you? Honestly, one of the things that I think might be cool for you, again, with that whole like vibe where you're kind of like this hitman, it's kind of like, I know something you don't know. I know something about my old partner. You know what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like use that camera as a prop maybe, and just like you're talking directly to them and you're just kind of like, hey, you want to hear a secret? Kind of type deal. Maybe that. I don't know. I'm just giving suggestions at this point. But again, Trevor Stroud wins this one for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're moving in to the undefeateds. So someone's gonna walk out of here with a W, and somebody's gonna walk out of here with an L, and it's gonna be their first one. So hopefully they don't take it, because even though you will take an L here in this, you still are potentially can make it into the semifinal round as long as you keep winning, right? So here we go. Jamie Eternal versus Spider. This is the second hardest, the first or second hardest between Summer Rawson and Annie O'Neill. This one was the next one that was really hard for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me anyways. You guys, you're on a different level than me, and that's okay.
Well, that's not true. That's not true, Cody, because like your input is just as valuable, if not more valuable than ours as well, because you have a different perspective. You know what I mean? You're an educated, you're not trained in the business proper, but like you're a person floating around it. But like, for example, I watch WrestleMania. I intentionally watch it with people who aren't wrestlers. I want to watch it with either casual fans or old fans. Like, I don't give a shit what like the wrestlers think about what happened. I want to know what like the person I'm playing to is reacting to. And so your opinion is extremely valuable.
Well, I appreciate that. So Jamie Eternal versus the Spider. I'm going to go ahead and let you open this one up because I've opened up quite a few and I want to just kind of mix it up a little bit. So
Davison?
Yeah. Oh, Davison.
Right.
I'll do Davison. Okay, we'll go with Davison then. So Davison says Jamie Eternal wins. Maybe the best promo I've ever seen from Jamie Eternal. She used his shoot name again. I keep telling her to stop that.
What's his King? His first name is King of Strange Style?
Yeah, King of Strange Style.
That's his first name. Yeah.
Also an amazing round for Spider, and he knows he needs to work on his gaps, letting the lines sink in, etc. I'm sure you're probably going to say something about that because I know you're one of those kind of guys. So go ahead. So she gave Jamie Eternal, didn't give Jamie Eternal the win. She scored Jamie Eternal with the win. Go ahead, ABZ.
Okay. Fine promo from Spider. It was solid. What you say is good, but it's just good right now. You know what I'm saying? Especially how you opened. You were saying lines and then you were pausing and then you were saying lines, but it wasn't in the form of a cadence. You weren't like, it wasn't going along the thought process that you were. It was a gap for a gap's sake, if that makes sense, between your sentences. And I can tell that because it's just like a little bit off each time by like just a half a second. You know what I'm saying? So you're not getting the that you get with certain other people, like you hear with like Coco when he's talking, or like you get with Jamie Eternal where he's like winding his words back and then he brings it through, and it's almost like a song through what he's saying. And that's it doesn't have to be like that. Sometimes it can be intentionally static and always that's Road Rash's style, right? But this one kind of wasn't his style. It was like you were pausing for the pause's sake. And so you put I can't say it the way you did because I didn't hear it like a second ago. So when I say put the juice on the words that matter, say things the way Spider says them. Because Spider doesn't talk like everybody else. I already know that, right? Everyone sees it because you do it later on, but you don't do it early. And that's kind of like the break in the character. It's like you were saving it, but like you don't. But if it was really who you are, you don't necessarily save it. It's like levels to it. So you put some juice on the words rotted wood. I can't remember exactly how you said it, but let me just like rotted wood or something like that. Like, but earlier in your cadence, you would come to, the punctuation in your sentences and your lines, and you would come to like you would say like certain words that should be articulated the way Spider articulates them. And I'm not saying, like, again, if you're gonna really put it on something else, like you can put it a little on something else, on like the littler early on. It just helps it flow. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but like when The Rock is doing The Rock, how about this? When The Rock is doing The Rock, like he's gonna continue to do rockisms through the whole promo. He doesn't stop. He never stops rockisming. He just like doesn't put as much rock in them. So like he's never not thinking about strudel. You know what I mean? He would just be like, he would still be saying it with a little bit of the eyebrow in the strudel if he's just saying it in a sentence, but he's not, you know what I mean? He's not necessarily like blasting it out, but he's still talking the way The Rock talks. He just isn't like, that's not his punchline there. So he's not gonna in that moment. You know what I mean? He's not yelling on it. So yeah, I don't know. Like think about that a little bit. Try to like keep your verbiage and like your enunciations kind of consistent throughout the whole thing. Good promo though. A good monologue. I felt like the intensity towards the end was a little bit cheesy when you were like screaming through your teeth. I feel like that was actually your moment to let it all go. Where like I just didn't believe you in the moment where you really popped off in this promo where you were screaming through your teeth. Because it felt like this was actually the moment for you to pop. Do you know what I mean? And that being said, like you just got to find it. You just got to find it, man. It's just going to be working on it and figuring it out and doing it more and learning your character more and just putting yourself in situations and just experience. Jamie Eternal, I have no critiques. This was one of the best promos that I've seen from you. This was the highest score of the week. It was really, really good across the board. Loved everything. Yeah.
So you gave
great monologue.
So Spider or Jamie Eternal?
Jamie Eternal.
Jamie Eternal. All right. So I'll go next. Spider, good promo. Overall promo, enjoyed it. I know he had a little bit of an issue where he was talking about where it blurred it out a little bit. I didn't really see it. I kind of think that kind of added to the effect of the promo. He said he was having the lighting issues with the sun, and he had to kind of darken it down a little bit so you could see him. It worked. I think it worked. And even AVZ never even made any mention of it whatsoever. So it looked fine.
Spider's a dark character.
Yeah, you're different, so I really think that you're finding your character here in this competition. I had a conversation with Spider at For Us Wrestling, and he was really looking forward to this, and he's talking about how well it's helped him so far and how it's continuing to help him. So I'm grateful for that for him. Jamie Eternal. This is a little different. This is kind of like what we talked about. You know what I'm saying last week, where we said it was a little different. There was something different. We now see maybe a little bit of a character change. Not so much a huge character change, but like a little bit of an evolution. We got a mask now, right? Lights. We seen it at FU first. Now we see it here. So this is like the promo is actually morphing out into the character that you're seeing in the ring too. So that's awesome. There's continuity. That's the word I'm looking for. A lot of continuity there, and maybe some of you don't know that, but there is. What did I say here? Yep, what I just said. He created a story relating to the match. And the moment that mask came off, he had a great moment there. That was a great moment. Took it off, got into the character, and the signature laugh. I can't fucking tell you how much I love the signature Jamie Eternal laugh. I fucking love it. There's variations of it. It's not always the same. There's different, you know what I mean? It's good. I enjoy it. Keep that up. Jamie Eternal with the win on that one. Sorry, Spider. Love you, brother. All right, so Jamie Eternal there. Let me go ahead and put this one in the books real quick. Just so.
And that was really an experience thing, right? Like
Yeah.
Spider's promo was good. And it's just like, but Jamie like knows his character so well that everything that he says it like Jamie.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Oh, so the next round, the next match is the Josh Morris versus Coco T. Ware.
Heavy hitters.
Yes, these two are some very big heavy hitters. Let me tell you right now. All right, so I'm going to go with Davison first. Excuse me, and then I'll run into mine. She says, Josh Morris wins by 1 point. Production was the determining factor. I love both, and Coco was a great heel, she says. So Coco was a good bad guy. I'm going to start with Coco. All right, so Coco, you told a story. I appreciate that. I really do. So where ABZ gets into the character development stuff and where he's really shines and in the performance aspects of things, because he was a performer outside of professional wrestling. He did a lot of things in stage during high school and things like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I wasn't in stage proper. I was just in a punk band.
So he was just in a punk band. Whatever. But anyways, the beginning special effect was okay, right? When you're you got the shake weight or whatever you had going on there, that was good. But as the promo goes on, there's this overlay twitchy thing going on. Too much. Didn't need it. Didn't need it whatsoever. Okay, overproduced on that. All right. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is my personal opinion. I'm not quite sure how ABZ feels about this, but I believe that your character is so over the top, right, that all that extra shit isn't needed. I really don't. I really don't think so. Now, the beginning, it worked, but I don't think you needed it, right? I don't think you needed it. Now, the red at the end, if that was all there was and it was that red at the end, that'd have been fucking great, right? You know what I'm saying? I'd have been happy with that. But I really don't think that I get it, because you're going against Josh Morris, who brings a higher level of production, so you feel like you got to compete with him on the production level. I don't really think you had to. I think that if you would have left the production alone and just went with what you had, that same promo, and left that little bit of red in there at the end, you'd have been tidy alrighty. I think that the overproduction took away from the promo. It took away from the character, because I'm so caught up on that production of the special effects and shit that I really wasn't able to enjoy the character that is Coco T. Ware, personally. All right? And so I already said all that. Yeah, I already said all that. Like I said, so if you would have, that thing, if you would have got rid of all that, put that in there, and even left it all out, I would have been way happy. I can tell you that. Way more happier than what I am. And again, this is me. I'm critiquing here. I'm not critiquing, but I got to get picky on shit, right? Because both great fucking promos, but I believe yours was overproduced, right? And I'm going to go with Josh Morris. And next here, what a fucking different monster than last year, man. I tell you. I mean, a lot of the same, but when he started out last year, and you remember ABC, he started out last year, came in real cold, and then just started lighting it up at the end, right? And then he just turned it on, and he never let go. And now here he is from number one, right off to the races, right? One of the things that I really like about him is his branding. Every fucking promo this guy does, he's branding himself. his brand, anything that goes with the meta, the saucy verse that he's got going on. Crispy Rico. Who names a fucking bat Crispy Rico? You know what I mean? We saw an appearance of Crispy Rico again. Crispy Rico made his premiere in Indie Idol last year. Dude, I love Crispy Rico. The only thing that would have been it better is if Crispy Rico actually talked. But I think for this promo, don't do that. But props, the setting, I love it. The cocoa nut. You popped me. And even with all that, though, the promo and it wasn't, we talked about good and great, right? And it was a great promo because not only did it do all of those things and give you the emotion and give you the context and there was creativity there and your character was at 100, that's for sure, right? The promo was to the point, right? It gave us the information that we needed to know. There was a story. There was character. There was eye contact. There was the connection the whole time. Dude, Josh Morris beats Coco Taware in my book in this one.
Okay. Yes, I agree 100% about the production thing. So the problem was you used filters. Be careful with using filters. You used a glitch filter. If I could have suggested one filter to definitely not use, it's the glitch filter. Yeah. You are already so much that it just made it busy. And Coco, what it felt like a little bit was like you were trying. It was like, again, Josh is going to bring the production. He's going to bring all that stuff. But it's like, beat him how Coco T. Ware beats him. You know what I mean? So again, if I can relate it, again, I'm just going to use myself as an example here just because that's who I know. One of the things that helped me a lot understand things was if I'm wrestling MM3 or if I'm wrestling fucking Adam Wick, or if I'm wrestling someone like that, I can't wrestle them like MM3. I can try. I can do a swanton, I guess. Like I can do some of that stuff, but like that's not what I do. Now I'm playing his game and we're gonna be worse off for it. Instead, they're gonna do what they do best, and I'm gonna do what I do best, because realistically, I think what people really want to see is like those two styles clash. Like I'm not going to beat him with all that stuff. I'm not going to beat him with, big crazy chained up moves and all this like big high impact stuff. I'm going to find the right moment to kick the rope, crotch him and hit him with a big impact move, or just wait till just the right moment and blast him with the cup. Or you're going to see levels of like that plan start to play out. You know what I mean? And that's me. And that's what I do. You are an excellent orator. You are as good as it gets when it comes to talking right into the camera. And you do all this extra stuff, and that part is good. When you're and stuff, you were, I like that you're going to take him to the tool shed, and you were in the tool shed. You had the hammer and all that stuff. You stole Road Rash's hammer. Thief. I liked it. Like I like that bit. Like you keep on doing different things. And what I like is that you put your character in different scenarios, because it's a living, breathing character. Like what happens when, your character goes to the mall? What happens when your character, goes out to eat at a fancy dinner, dinner debonair with MJF and Chris Jericho? It's like, it's interesting to see that stuff. Booker T and Stone Cold fighting in the supermarket. Like I said, some of the most fun stuff, because it's like, but they weren't acting like they're at the supermarket. They're just doing their character at the supermarket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, and you do that very well. And I like that about you. Again, I think that all that other stuff kind of took away from your good wordplay and your good monologue. And I actually do think this was one of your weaker monologues as a direct result of it, because all this other stuff was going on and you had to work. I felt like you were working the props and the setting in instead of letting it be natural. Do you know what I mean? You were trying to work it in, and it took away from what you do best, which is the talking. And something I have as like a little aside for you that I think might be really interesting. Again, you're playing at a different level, right? So I can only really give you suggestions. I can't really like hard nose, this bad, this good, do this, don't that. I think something for you don't scream or yell or get angry or anything like that. But you talk very fast and you have a really good cadence to you, like I said before. And I think that for your character, if you wanted to yell, you would slow it down just for a second. Because I feel like if you said something slowly, or if you stopped talking and you like let the, like with your style, if you create a silence, it will be louder than anything you could possibly do, because it's bop 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 bop. But this Friday, it won't be any of that. But don't worry about it, buddy. You know, it's really not going to be a big problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you can really hit it with that at some point, you know, and do it like you. I think it's going to be, it's kind of like a little challenge. Like, I'm not saying you have to do it. Like, I'm not even saying to do it. Play around with it. It's something you can throw in there. And I think that it would in the right moment mean a lot. Now, Josh Morris. Fucking, this is Josh Morris. This is the evolution of Josh Morris too, right? Like he went like, and a lot of people don't know this because like he wrestled out of state a lot, but he's gone from someone who is like an entertaining mid-card act to he's up the card now. He's getting those main events. He's wrestling higher level opponents. He's holding his own, and that's the evolution of the character that you're seeing. And you're seeing it right here, right? Like it's higher level stuff, all of it. Like he knows 100% who he is. What I talked to Annie, I was saying with Annie and all them, you know what else he did? Like the Saucyverse seems so big and so fleshed out, but at the same time, if you look at the way it was, he cut a lot of the fat. He cut a lot of the fat on it. And it's direct. He does what he does, and everything he does makes sense. It doesn't feel weird. It doesn't feel like he's trying to get his shit in. You know what I mean? Everything he says and does is exactly with his character. He's an annoying little heel. He's the Miz in a way. You know what I mean? The reality and the stuff and all that other stuff. He's Miz and Morrison. It's like, but not really. But it's not really Miz and Morrison. It's Josh. You know. But I could definitely see him palling around with them, and that's a very valuable asset to have. Something that I think I would like to see from Josh maybe going forward. I don't know how you do this as Josh Morris. But like now that you are in the main events and doing all that other stuff, I want to see you like, I don't, this is like, again, this is a challenge. You don't have to do this. Like, I'm not saying you should. I don't even expect to see it, but like maybe challenge yourself and see what it looks like if you were to kind of shift gears and kind of level change into like, okay, now Josh Morris has to fucking kill you. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, you shot my puppy now, so you're fucking dead. You know what I mean? How does Josh Morris say that? How does he like, you know, because you're always a threat, and you're always like, you know, annoying, and like you're gonna laugh as you beat him up with Crispy Rico, and you're gonna use all the interference, and like you always have a plan. But like, what happens when like the fangs really come out? I kind of want to see what that looks like at some point. I'm not saying now, I'm not saying later, but play around with it. Josh Morris, this was fucking on all cylinders. He got it for me. 36-33.
Nice. That's awesome. So, man, what a round. Again, I want to say, you know, none of this, I think everybody in this group is doing a fantastic job. You know, I put a post out the other day, you know, it's really cool to win, but if you get infinitely better because of something you've done, even with not winning a championship or whatever, and you get infinitely better, the dividends of getting better are going to pay far more than if you win. That's just my opinion. right?
The belt's pretty cool though.
It is pretty fucking cool. I give you that. So I know the matches for next week. Are you ready?
Let's see him.
All right. So matches for next week. The battle of the undefeateds. Jamie Eternal versus Josh Morris. Oh boy, talk about a good one, right? Do these two bring it to a whole new level, or do they keep doing what they're doing to stay safe? Do they save it for the semifinals and finals? I don't know. And because this will be round 4, right? Yeah, round 4, right? Yeah, round 4. Then we have Alex Steele versus Ethan James, and the reason why we do an extra round or two is to give everybody a little bit more experience against other people because you're never facing the same person. So then we have Alex Steele versus Ethan James. We have Coco T. Ware versus Trevor Stroud, which should be a really good one. The Spider versus Summer Rawson. This is going to be a challenge for both of them. The Great Tiger versus Fletch Malone. This should be a good one too. And we have Jason Blazin versus Eddie Dillon. We have Annie O'Neill versus Road Rash. And then we have Avery Hughes versus Mason Keller. So, last round we did a scenario-based round where we gave you the info and whatever. And I will say this, one thing I would like to start seeing is, just throw something in there. It doesn't matter if it works together on your promo where you, hold on, buddy. But if you, like Jason Blazin gave me a location in his promo. I don't care if you guys don't have the same location or whatever. Just throw something in there. Make it something. You know what I mean? What did you want to say, bro?
Are we doing a stip? And if so, can I pick it?
Do you want? Okay. Do the stip. Go ahead, because I have something to add to it on top of a stip. So go ahead. What do you want?
Well, I want to hear what you say first.
Okay. So part of your requirement, and this came from a vet, and this is an idea that they had, and they said, hey, so let's see here. Hold on, I want to make sure I get this right.
See, because of this, I might not even do the step, depending on what this is. Or my step might change, to be honest.
I can't find it. But so basically, one of the things you have to do, so, you were a tag team challenge, yada, yada, yada. Now I'm going to give you something you have to put in your promo. You like this? This is good. So, I like
this. It's going to go with my step.
All right. So you have to use another person in your promo. They don't have to talk. They can talk. They could be somebody you attack, something, but you have to use another person some way, somehow it can be with a wrestler, it can be not a wrestler, but you have to use a person, an actual person. Next.
Oh man, this is going to be so good with my little step.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
I love this because the creativity is going to flow for sure. Now, before I give the step, I want to tell you this. This is a step that if certain people who are in this competition were in it, they'd be like, yes. And this is going to be a step where if certain people in this competition were in it, their characters are going to be like, no. Use another person, get creative with it, maybe ask them for advice in this thing. Maybe you take them out with this for practice. I don't know. But you two are going to be facing each other in a fucking death match.
Oh, no way. So it's got to be a fucking death match? Or
a fucking death match.
A fucking death match. All right.
How does your character feel about going into this fucking death match? Not a death match. It's a fucking death match.
Well,
do with that what you will. No, it's a death match. But you don't fuck them. Yeah. Unless they want to. I don't know. Maybe after. Yeah. But
this coming from the guy that used a fucking dildo in a fucking promo. All right.
That wasn't me. That was my weird brother. That was that OnlyFans.
So your stip is a fucking death match. Not literal sense of the word fucking. You have, I guess, but we have ladies in this competition, so I just don't think it'd be appropriate. No offense. So,
For what?
For them to
For it to be a literal fucking death match?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
No. Anyways, AVZ.
Oh, you mean the fucking part?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't do that either.
Yeah.
Don't. Well, no fucking without consent. That's all.
There we go. All right. So you have to use another person in your promo some way, somehow. They're a prop, they could be something. But, Summer Rawson did a good job of using a person in hers a while back. So, but use it. It's a death match as your stip, man. This is gonna be good. So, man, again, thanks to everybody for watching. Thank you, ABZ. I hope that Davison gets better. I hope she's feeling better tomorrow or whenever she wakes up. I know she went to sleep because she was feeling nauseous or something. And again, I really want to tell everybody, I've said it to them personally in the chats and what have you, but I don't know how to say this without it sounding weird, I guess, but I really had a very proud dad moment, and I know that I am not a trained person or whatever and know all these things that AVZ does and what have you, but sitting,
nothing.
Being one of the persons that helped create Indie Idol, and then seeing what it's become now, and seeing the people be able to use it and become better, it makes me proud because that's what it was for. And yes, it does create content. I'm not gonna lie there. And when we first started, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And even today, I still fuck shit up. But it creates content. But at the end of the day, the purpose is to help people get better at promos, and for them to feel comfortable to do promos. Because when you ask a lot of people, why don't you do promos? And they're I suck at promos. So what? You're gonna suck. Yeah. You're gonna suck if you don't do it, right? If you say you can't, you're right because you won't. It's that simple, So, sorry, I had to admin the room. But I really did. I had a proud dad moment, and I don't know how that sounds to some people, but I'm really proud of you guys. I really am. I think you guys are doing a great job. I want you guys to keep it up, and it's a absolute humbling or proud to be a part of. Watching your growth is amazing. That's part of the reason why I was a karate instructor. And it's another reason why I love Indie Idol, is because to watch people grow and find, in wrestling their character, and in karate the belief in themselves, right? And the same thing goes. It kind of goes hand in hand. When you find your character, you start believing in your character, and then your promos become more believable. So it goes hand in hand, And again, I'm really proud of you guys. Please keep up the good work. Avery, please turn in a promo. I'm not trying to be a dick, bro, but you're never going to get better if you don't at least try, or at least do. I hate the word try, and I used it. I should do push-ups right now. I'll do that later. Anything to add before we get out of here, ABZ?
Hey, thank you, Cody, as well, for letting me do this, because, like I said, I'm learning too. This is making me better. I'm learning every day, and this for myself is one of my strengths, but it's I have so far to go. Right. You know what I mean? I'm so far to go, and
we're all there,
right? And helping, if I can find a way to help you guys, it also helps me. You watched it. I'm long-winded because I'm thinking and I'm coming up with things. I'm trying to be creative and trying to help think for you. You know what I mean? And if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm terrible at communication, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. Yes, he is. I can vouch for that. He's horrible at communication. I had not
I remember
talked
that.
to him until like 5 minutes before we went live.
I used to have guys for that. So
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah, it is what it is. All right, everybody. Again, thank you. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up, and promos will be due on Friday as per the usual, and we'll be back live Monday at 8 again to do the judging. So the promo should be available somewhere around Saturday, depending on what my work schedule is, because I do have a shoot job too. So, all right, everybody. Thank you, ABZ. Thank you for everybody for watching. You guys have a great night. We'll see you again. Well, I'll see you again on tomorrow for MI-Dub, and then again on Sunday for Rage. So, adios, amigos. Later.
It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage. Cody Fleming is the man who leads the brigade. It's going down. This is Rasslin Rage. Do it now. This is Rasslin Rage. Scream it out loud. This is Rasslin Rage.